Justin Powers for one, playing the O-line last year, being in a position they hadn't played in probably 4 to 5 years, and stepping in and doing a great job, making the all-district team, and just taking a leadership role and an ownership of the defense, especially since we lost so much. We replaced just about everybody but maybe 2 to 3 D-linemen.
Armando's just a class person, if anything else I can say about him, he works hard and he doesn't take anything for granted, He never let anything swell in his head. When he got Dallas Morning News Player of the Week after the Hillcrest game, he was still the same Armando, level-headed, easygoing, hard worker, just a good person that'll do whatever you ask him to do, and I couldn't ask any more of him throughout this year. And I hope he really gets a chance to play, in the future. The thing I'll say about Andre is that perseverance. The guy, he persevered through a lot this year, and I'm proud of him for that. The first few games, and he knows why he didn't play very much. And I expected him to be one of my starters coming into the season, but for one reason or another, he didn't get a chance to start at the beginning of the year. But the thing about Andre was he never complained. He came to me sometimes. He said, "Coach, am I going to get my chance this week?" And I said, "Just be patient." And he did. He persevered through the hard times. And he's probably one of the more consistent players we had on defense, in my opinion. He might not have made the most flashy plays, but he did everything right the most, if I could put it that way. And then I'm glad he got to finish his career off on a big note, 2 big notes. He got an interception against Highland Park, big going into the end zone in the first half, and then he got an interception to end off the first half against Frisco Liberty. So, just a picture of perseverance and consistency.
Drew Baxter. Drew was new to football this year. He didn't play the last few years, and he really made a difference on our football team. Drew's he's a special kind of kid. He not only has athletic ability, but he also has it up here. He understands that that there's more to reaching that next level than your athletic ability. He's a well-mannered, polite young man who has an enormous future ahead of him.
Brian Foster, I don't think Brian realizes what he could do if he ever really put his mind to it. He's what I would call a gentle giant.
Brian Foster was another, he had started some for us last year. Brian was another really good, solid player. Our biggest defensive lineman. Brian turned out to do a really nice job for us this year. Cole Amston, probably our most versatile player as far as being played defensive end or being played defensive tackle, go and play some tight end on the offense, and along with some different roles on special teams.
Ben Neal. Ben Neal's the kind of kid that I'd love to tell stories about from years on end. D-team player in middle school, didn't play a whole lot in middle school, kept working. Freshman year, B-team player, kept working. Played JV as a junior, starter, JV. Even though he's a junior on JV, gives you everything he's got, just waiting on his time, knowing he's going to get a chance. and contributed as a senior.
David Tanner, very hard-nosed, one of the toughest kids I've ever coached. Great attitude, just going to be a great person.
Gene Rogers, he's a kid you got to have. You know, he's steadfast, works hard, constantly, never quits, never gives up, just wants a spot, wants to find out where he fits in. He's going to be there. He's that true lab that's going to be there with you and loyal to you, and he's going to do whatever you ask him to do.
Gene was another, like most of our guys. You know, he did what you asked him to do. He was here every day. He was on time. He never complained, and just a tremendous work ethic. Gene's one of my all-time favorites. Good football player.
I'd have to say Zach Salinas was one. Watching Zach mature this last year, and in particular take over and fill that void of a vocal leader who, probably above all other kids on our team, had fun at practice. He was going to enjoy being out there. He loved his team. He loved his teammates. And in particular, one memory is Richardson Pierce in the locker room before the game. It was probably about as good example of I see of a kid being prepared and trying to get his teammates fired up in a right way for a ball game than I've ever seen in high school.
Zach Salinas, when I think of Zach, he kept everybody laughing. Obviously, anybody knows Zach knows exactly what I'm talking about. Tremendous football player, quick, strong, all the attributes you'd want. And he's another guy that, not that he was a good football player last year, but he was another guy that I saw marked improvement. He spent a lot of time in the weight room and running over the summer. And we saw a lot of improvement between last year, as good as he was last year, to this year. Really capped it off with a really nice senior year.
Zach Salinas, good kid, down heart, just wants to win, wants to play football. You know, he'll battle you too, you know, and he gets after it. Both of them two's got motors that just won't quit.
The one thing you could always count on Zach was just 100% intensity on the field, full speed, relentless, persevering. And a lot of times he was double teamed. We put him in positions where he was going to be at the nose and he was going to get double teamed. And just watching him excel on the field made us as coaches very proud.